Anyway, let's speak about something closer to home now, because there's a new comedy project underway, set being made in Telford. It's called Reduced to Clear, and Alex Yousefi and Luke Allen are the people behind it, and they join me now. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello.
Good.
Thanks for having us back. Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, so how far along are you in terms of producing this? Because last time we spoke, you were looking for basically a shop to use and wondering when you could get people together to be able to shoot the thing.
Well, we've now raised money. Pretty certain got a location down. We were looking yesterday, and we're on our final steps of the decision. And we've got shooting dates set, if COVID allows.
So the crowdfunding went well.
It did, yeah. We raised quite above our target. We were aiming for 750, and we got 1,000 and how much? 82.
82,
yeah.
Look, the £2 is important, because this is essentially for expenses for your cast, isn't it, to get them here?
It is, yeah.
It is.
Which is still just surreal that people are willing to travel the distances they are and willing to get involved. Like it's blown up a lot from what we had. It was going to be have a few friends to film this, and then suddenly it's like, okay, this is the biggest thing we've ever done.
So talk me through the premise again then, for those who haven't heard about it. Reduced to Clear is what?
Well, Reduced to Clear is a comedy surrealist short film set in a charity shop, and it follows the main character, Mike, as it goes through the roughest shift of his life. That is essentially all we can give away, really.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a very surreal kind of Airplane, Naked Gun type of stupid fun comedy, which I don't think we see enough of now. So
yeah, that is a kind of, you're harking back to what kind of late 80s, early 90s stuff there. Is that what you've kind of taken inspiration from?
A lot of my stuff, the jokes that I wrote in are definitely from that sort of stuff. And I know, Alex, you came from as kind of some of the early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s,
surrealism.
Like Black Books, IT Crowd,
So what, are you both sort of 16, 17?
Yeah, 17, yeah.
When did you kind of rediscover or discover all of that stuff?
For me, probably about 5 years ago, I was going through Monty Python and then into Airplane.
I'd actually say for me a lot sooner, just as we were leaving school, is when I fully delved into that genre of comedy. That's mainly Lockdown 1, actually, I'd say, just before we wrote the thing. Yeah. So I'm still quite fresh.
So was that a bit of a light bulb moment for you? I'd like to do this sort of stuff.
Yeah, we were coming up and we thought, wow, this is cool, and there's not enough stuff like this. I was like, is there, come on, there's got to be more like this. So then we were like, yeah, let's go for this genre. And that's where it's come from, really.
Yeah.
Now, you wanted to announce a fairly prominent cast member, didn't you, tonight?
Yes. Yeah, we've announced every other cast member except our lead, and we thought we'd announce him for you tonight.
Superb.
Yeah. So,
Alex, I'll hand it over to you.
Who is that? What, could they be here today?
Sorry, I was waiting for an introduction. Hello.
Edward, you've come in too early.
I've been here the whole time, just waiting.
Unbelievable. No, it wasn't. They were supposed to give you the big build-up, read out your CV and everything. You've blown the whole thing.
I know. I don't know where to put my face. It's so embarrassing. Honestly, you can't get the stuff to.
Edward Tidy, you've decided to star in this.
I think it's very generous that you said I decided. I read the script. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I auditioned for the part, and I was very lucky to get it. But yes.
As soon as we saw his tape, we were like, this is exactly the guy. We saw so many tapes where there was just things wrong and we weren't quite sure what they were. And then as soon as Edwards came in, it was like, that's Mike. It was quite
pretty much.
Yeah.
You hear about that a lot, don't you, where nobody can quite put their finger on what it is that makes somebody suitable for a part over somebody who on the face of it would be perfectly fine, but there's just something.
Yeah, there is. There's definitely something that you just see on an instinct. I don't know what it is, but...
And it's like all those takes before then, you feel like awful people for being like, they're great, but they're not. And it's like, we don't know what it is. And it's like, it feels horrible to be in a position where you're able to to judge such stuff, so that when someone like Edward comes along, we're like, oh, we aren't horrible people. That's what we wanted, and it's so nice.
Edward, how did you find out about it?
I actually just heard about it through a casting website that the guys had put the link on. And so they gave a very brief summary, and I thought that sounds quite interesting. So I sent an email just to say I'd be interested in seeing it. And they sent over the script. And actually, like you were saying earlier, your inspirations drawing from like Monty Python, and kind of that absurdist style of comedy is also something that I grew up with and I absolutely love. So I read through it, and it's one of those scripts that I laugh out loud a lot, but not often when I'm on my own reading a script through for the first time. And I was kind of blown away by it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Edward.
All right, enough of the loving. When you decided, or when you found out how old they were, were you bothered? Did that bother you at all? Because it's the first thing that strikes me is that these guys are really fresh to this.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that at their age, because the maturity of the script, but it didn't really bother me at all. Actually, I think in the creative industry, if people have got an idea and a strong idea and a passion for it, then it doesn't matter so much about the age, because also on a film set you have so many different people involved in the process that it's not just, I mean, to an extent it is Alex and Luke's vision and what they're going to create, but they like Luke keeps saying, they're the least experienced people on the set, but they have got a whole team around them who are going to be really happy to work together and to like sort of help create this shared vision that we've got.
You're going to be playing somebody who's, I guess I would describe as unfortunate, I think. Are you do you enjoy playing that sort of role?
Yes, I think unfortunate is definitely the right word for it. I think it's wonderful. It's an opportunity to explore just some of the worst possible emotions that you can feel, but in like a safe way, and also in a funny way. So I think it's something I'd definitely be excited to do.
I mean, that's a deep comment. Exploring some of the worst things you can feel in a safe way. Is that masochistic, or I'm not entirely sure where a psychologist would have a field day. Yeah,
and then making the film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd say it's the opposite of masochistic in a way.
Okay.
It's sort of It's not wanting to experience that constantly. It's letting yourself get to that point in a safe way so that you can know how it's felt and then being able to draw yourself back from it. Just being able to explore the human condition. Well,
I suppose it's a little bit like going to watch a horror movie or something that makes us cringe or something that makes us feel things that in any other situation we'd avoid. But actually in that environment, you go to dip your toe in the water, don't you? For an actor, I guess it's a little bit more immersive than that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very good point. I might write that
deep
down.
for a
You can
have
we're
that.
getting very psychological here.
You can have that for free.
Thank you very much.
So how much have you got in terms of your set and your equipment and everything ready to go? And are you looking at any set dates yet?
Yeah, we've got shooting dates sorted towards the latter part of August. We're filming over 3 days. We've got 1 day of setup. We looked at location yesterday. We just got to double check a few things to check it's perfect, and if so, we'll be emailing them. So I won't say who they are yet, just in case. But yeah, we've got that down, and we've got the dates set, and we've got the budget set, and it's just kind of like everything's piecing together way better than we expected. That
it's perfect.
We were saying yesterday we were almost terrified that it's going too well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So, what have you got? Anything that you need to source? Do you need anything, or have you got everything you want?
I at the moment it feels like we've got everything in terms of when we're actually because what we're looking at rather than actually filming in a charity shop is building a charity shop set, which is obviously quite another larger step. But it's also we're in the situation where a lot of charity shops aren't especially charity shops of the size that we need to fit what we need in, they're not able to afford the loss of income to shut for a few days.
And it gives you the flexibility, I guess, to kind of use and abuse the location a bit more.
Yeah.
You'd be worried about breaking stuff, wouldn't you, otherwise?
Yeah, and so we're kind of building a set. We're going to hopefully get in touch with a few of the charity shops that are near our location and see whether they'd be able to lend some surplus donations for a few days and kind of build the set with that. So at the moment, we don't know directly what we need, but I'm sure our art department will be flooding us on WhatsApp at some point with a list.
I love that you've got an art department. How many people
I know,
is that?
it's cool. I'm trying to think. We've got a production designer, 2 art directors, a prop designer, and a graphic designer, and technically our storyboard artist counts as an art department as well.
Where have you
which
found
is really surreal to
all
say.
of these people without kind of shelling out huge amounts of money or any money at all at times?
I don't even know.
Okay.
It's some of these things have been just the most guided, where it's been incredible. Like I consider this film as a person of Christian faith. I don't know what everyone else is. I consider it an answer to prayer in many ways. I need something and it happens. And so that's kind of how it's come, where it's been like, literally we've been chatting with people who've been like, hey, we need a production manager. And then it's been like, literally that second I get a text from someone through, hey, just saw about your project. Do you need a production manager? Because I'm willing. And it's just like, this is just what's happened. Like we post about it on a few social media sites and among like film Facebook groups, and people are just interested. I think especially with lockdown, people just like the idea of work, going back to anything. So we've been very lucky in that.
Is that part, Edward, as somebody sent directly to Luke from God, which I think you will enjoy, is that sort of the kind of the thing that makes you keen? It's something to get your teeth stuck into after a long time out.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like Luke was saying, there's been a lot of people who have been looking for something to do in the past year and a bit, and it's sort of having that creative output is definitely part of it, I think. Also, just I think the Alex and Luke themselves talking to people who are so passionate about something, kind of you do get involved yourself as well. It's it's just really exciting.
Well, it's brilliant to hear that you're all set. So August is when you're going to be shooting, and then you're going to be, I suppose, in weeks in a dark room editing and doing all of that and post-production and things like that. So when do you think it'll be finished?
Oh, well, I think we're thinking like towards the end of the year. We'll probably have a screening starting next year. Is that what we were saying, Alex? Or have I just made that up?
No, that's definitely right.
But we've got a read-through in like just less than 2 weeks, all on Zoom, which is going to be very exciting to kind of see everyone together. Because we've got I can't remember what cast we'd announced last time we were. Well, like who had already been announced last time we were on.
Go on, run through them again.
Of involvement. Okay, I'm gonna quickly load up my own cast list to ensure that I don't forget anyone. So we've got Simon Fisher Becker, who's playing the manager. He was Dorian in Doctor Who and the Fat Friar in Harry Potter. So it's very exciting to kind of have him on board. We've got Ewan McIntosh, who was Keith in the UK version of The Office. Who's playing one of the customers. We've got Adam Collins, who is playing the role of the swindler. We can't say much about his character, but he's an actor and Hollywood stuntman, as well as a writer and director. He's done like everything, and he's great. We've got Nanette Finch, who is the UK's most famous extra, who's been in over 1,000 films and TV shows. We got Sarah Malanga, who has done a lot of acting and different like lookalikes work as well, and she's very interesting to bring on board. Winter Fonander, who's a stand-up comic from Ireland. He's playing the role of Threatening Man. Dawn Butler is playing the role of Barbara, and she's an actress who's got a recurring role on Doctors, but has been in a load of other stuff. We've got comedian Andy Kind as a barman. We've got a wonderful actor called Carl Greenwood playing the role of Pete. And finally, we've got a cameo from Alex McQueen from The In-Betweeners and several other shows as a phone operator. But that's our cast, yeah.
Amazing. Look, you're doing brilliantly, and I can't wait to get the next update. So thanks very much for coming on to all three of you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Thanks a lot. That's Alex Yousefi, Luke Allen and Edward Tidy, all part of Reduced to Clear, which is a comedy short film being made in Telford. And Luke and Alex, obviously young filmmakers based in the county, brilliant to support people doing great things. And what a cast they've put together. And it's just great to check in and see how the project's going every now and again.